The Art of Sarah. The episode starts at a huge launch party for Boudoir 2024 SS collection for designer bags. We see this beautiful girl in a gray dress moving around like she's the main character, until she suddenly stops in the middle of the event, just looking at all that she's accomplished. It starts to randomly snow, and the employees cover the handbags, on display with umbrellas, before she walks up to another one of the bags displayed and places her own umbrella over it before she smirks at us through the camera. Already I'm like, this is someone very accomplished in life. The scene then switches to a department store area where there's a huge line of people camping outside waiting for a new release of an item, and we see a girl talking on the phone trying to light her cigarette before she drops it inside a sewer. She tries to see where it fell if it's possible to pick it up. While looking down, she screams as if she's just seen a dead body. Because she has. With a closer look, this decomposed body has on the same gray dress the woman in the beginning was wearing. When police and detectives arrive, they see that the face of the victim was so badly deformed that they couldn't possibly identify her from her face alone. The only other thing they have going is the cursive tattoo on her leg saying "Melancholy Splendid." Further investigation shows that her face was botched countless times to the point that her nose and gum caved in, with one inspector stating, quote, "looks like a murder driven by an intense desire for revenge," and that her death was actually caused by exposure from the cold weather and not the beating itself, meaning she froze to death in that state. Detectives come in and notice that the victim has been left there for days with no one important in her life to report her missing. And a few feet away from the body, we see a purple purse. On it, only a single fingerprint was found. The bag is examined to be a rare collection bag with a possible serial number that could be traceable to the buyer of the item. While the detective examines the crime, here comes this guy who looks like an intern casually inserting himself into the narrative saying, "For someone to dump this purse like it's nothing, they're either a moron or crazy rich." And right off the bat, I feel like I know what role he's going to play. He gives off the energy that he's going to be the comedian that somehow cracks the case wide open with his unnecessary remarks. The detective is just as confused as I am at his appearance before he introduces himself as Jae Hyun, assigned to Violent Crimes Team 1. A call comes in stating the serial number of the bag confirms that the owner of the purple bag found at the crime scene is Jeong Yojin, the CEO of the cosmetics brand Nox, and that apparently she gave that bag to a friend. They call Jeong Yojin over to possibly identify the body. We see her in a vibrant, cute, almost furry long coat, very contrast to her surrounding area where it's all gray and white, very dull, almost like there's a dead body in the room or something. They reveal the face of the victim, and Jeong Yojin shakes her head before saying no, basically confirming that she doesn't know this person. However, the detective then says, "Come, take a look over here too," and reveals the leg tattoo of the victim. After seeing this, Yojin immediately falls to the floor crying, saying, "Oh my god, it's Sarah." Now we have the name of the victim. This is Sarah. Sarah Kim, at least. What's left of her. At this point, it's 3:55 p.m., and Yojin asks for a moment alone that the detective gives her only after looking at the surveillance camera in the room before walking out to hear the cries of Yojin. After things calm down, they both sit down for coffee before the detective begins his interrogation stating, "The two of you are very close, I imagine," to which Yojin responds, "Well, if I gave her that bag, doesn't that say it all?" Like, damn, the rich really have a weird way of showing love and appreciation. She then spans out into space and continues by saying, "It was a Birkin bag that started it all." At this point, it's only been like 10 minutes of the episode, and I'm already getting tired of hearing about Birkin bags. Jeong Yojin begins by telling the story of her friendship with Sarah Kim. Their first meeting was at a luxury designer handbag store. Shocker. While Yojin is ready to get a bag for herself, we hear a suitcase being rolled on the floor into the store with Sarah Kim wearing a gray long bathrobe and black shades like she literally just rolled out of bed. She's just casually looking around, touching items here and there, looking for whatever it is she's looking for, while one of the employees follows her trying to see if she can be of some assistance, while still trying to be professional, and even going further by asking if she could store her suitcase somewhere while she shops. Before she can even finish asking, Sarah grabs the handle and moves the suitcase close to her, saying, "No, it's fine." That's suspicious. Like, what's in the bag? And it looks heavy, too. The employee, still very professional, is like, Ma'am, if you could refrain from touching. Damn it, bitch! I'll take everything my hands have touched. You were keeping track, right? Says Sarah. That's when we see the pink fur coat lady's face pop up a little, because at this point, she is thinking the same thing we were thinking before she notices Sarah's leg tattoo, as Sarah lays down dozing off while the employees tally up her total. When the employee asks for her card and identification, she says, "My name is Sarah Kim, and the rest you can fill out with your information." I would have called my manager, but not this employee, because she does just that. But when it comes time to pay, she opens up the suitcase, where I'm ready to see a body, but in actuality, it's just filled with cash. A lot of it. Oh, she's rich. Jang Yo-jin's jaw damn near drops, and while they count the money, the employee goes to check if it's real under the blue light, only to find that it is. The employees continue to count the money. 1 million won, 5 million, 10 million won. Hey, Google, how much is 10 million won? That's about $6,902.46, it says. And I am thinking, is this before tax or after? Because why is that the total? Anyways, all suspicions go out the window, and Jang Yo-jin says, "In that moment, Sarah became someone I could never forget." So I'm thinking, imagine how rich you gotta be that you have someone who's also rich thinking they can't forget you. However, as the episode continues, we clearly see that Sarah Kim is no ordinary person, even for the rich. However, I begin to wonder, who is Yo-jin, and where does she lie on this social ladder? While out with friends at night in this fancy restaurant, Sarah Kim gets mentioned by one of the friends, to which she provides us with more content as to who she is. Sarah Kim is head of Asia operations over at Boudoir, which only sells to the top 0.1%, and was sponsoring one of her latest films for their new launch store in Korea. Yo-jin is once again dressed all elegantly. But the part where I'm wondering that she might be on a lower level is when the friend asks why she's so dressed up, as if it's not a norm. Yo-jin has her eyes set on an older lady at the restaurant, Chairwoman Choi. Her status is made even more apparent when she approaches and greets the chairwoman before being met with, "And you are?" Yo-jin awkwardly smiles and says she's been sending them their products for over a year, but it looks like there must have been delivery issues if she's never received them. LOL. One of Chairwoman's posse says, "She's the CEO of Knox, Consumer Products," followed by a mockery statement saying, "You don't work with local brands anyways. Why are they talking like this? Like you're 50 plus years old." So already, the show is doing a great job showing where Yo-jin stands, as I begin to almost lose respect for her character in a way where I now perceive her as less than, just from this short interaction, as sad as it may sound. Her whole demeanor shifts, from the fragile confidence she carried when she walked in, to the inner shell of a small child, seemingly trying to fit into a group she knows she has no place in, simply because she wore one of her prettiest dresses. We find out that the purpose of her approaching the chairwoman was to find out why she rejected her membership application. She's met with the cruel reality that she is not on the same wavelength as them as the chairwoman reads her for filth, and even after all the belittling insults, Yo-jin bows before walking back to her rightful place.
그래서 대표님이 화장실 앞에 앉고 내가 여기 앉아 있는 건데.
Y'all, this scene was so sad because it really puts into perspective how wealth can create a kind of detachment from reality. How some people become so insulated by privilege that they stop seeing the human impact of their behavior. Maybe she was mean from the start, or maybe she grew into it because of the position she's in. Either way, it's unsettling to realize that this kind of detachment doesn't end in high school. It doesn't end when you've created a name for yourself. It doesn't end even when you seemingly have it all. It just doesn't end. Even among the rich, there's a hierarchy. And for a hierarchy to stay intact, someone has to be at the top. And for someone to be at the top, someone else has to be at the bottom. And unfortunately, it's often someone who never deserved to be there. During her walk of shame back downstairs, we see she's holding the purple bag in her hand. We then see someone accidentally bump into her, causing them to spill their red wine over her bag. This is none other than Sarah Kim. Sarah truly looks devastated that she destroyed her bag. I was truly shocked to see this side of her after they portrayed her as someone of clear high importance and almost seemingly did not care for the way people saw her. And for some reason, you guys, she's glowing. She looks so beautiful and elegant and very well put together in contrast to her appearance at the store. She repeatedly says she's sorry while cleaning the bag, which only further infuriates Yo-jin as she damn near punches Sarah with the bag across her face. At this point, I'm waiting for an all-out catfight, like maybe Sarah was keeping her cool because she was in the wrong, but now she's gonna show you why she's Sarah fucking Kim. Sadly, she keeps cool and collected, bows her head and says once again, "I'm very sorry, it's all my fault," before dumping the contents of her red bag on the floor and exchanging her red bag for Yojin's purple one. Now, to put into context, that's like you accidentally bumping into me while I'm holding $1,000 in my hand. You make me drop my money, and as angry as I am to pick up 50 $20 bills, you say, "Here, take 500 of my $20 bills instead," in exchange for the damage I've caused. $10,000 for $1,000. Yeah, could someone remind me what I was mad about again? This is the aura of Sarah Kim. Sarah bows and walks away, leaving Yojin shocked at this exchange before crying to herself. At this point, I'm wondering where her friends are, because how don't they see or hear this happening? It's later in the night, and it's clear Yojin is ready to be done with the day. She steps outside for a smoke when a small yellow car pulls up, revealing Sarah as the driver as the windows roll down. She smiles and offers Miss Jiang a lighter before inviting her for another round of drinks, pun intended. At that moment, they truly open up to each other, crack jokes, and begin what seems like the start of an engaging, genuine friendship. Once again, we see the topic of hierarchy within social class come up again when Jiang says, "You and I are not the same." Sarah responds saying, quote, "There's more than meets the eye," before offering Jiang some cake which leaves some residue on the side of her mouth that was there for too long, in my opinion. I even thought maybe they forgot to take it out during the final takes or something, but then we see a sweet moment indicating a feeling of genuineness in this new friendship as Sarah wipes the cake off her mouth. I'm starting to blush like what's happening here. We then see the close dynamic of this newly formed friendship, with them shopping together and Miss Jiang getting a wardrobe makeover, wearing a classic lime green button-up two-piece followed by a long matching skirt. As they both look in the mirror, Sarah utters a very important line, stating, "It's not about what kind of person someone is. It's all about how someone appears." Ooh, is this foreshadowing? Like, what do you mean by that? Now it's all fun and games, but let's remember, these two women are business women, CEOs. We're reminded of this. During a spa day, Sarah reveals she wants to buy the copyrights to an art piece from an unreachable designer named Yu Yong so she can use it on the gift boxes for her boudoir launch. Y'all, imagine buying the rights to a copyrighted art piece just to use it as gift wrapping. 1,000 more aura points. That's insane. However, Yojin essentially says, "Girl, you don't think other people have tried? What makes you think you're going to be any different?" Now pause. In order to answer that question, I know two things, and I'm confused about one. First, I've only known Sarah for 20 minutes. Second, I know there are only 2 people at this spa, and yet somehow, I'm still confused on who Yojin thinks she's talking to. Sarah basically responds with, "No ma'am, I am different," essentially making it clear that if she wants something, she'll get it. Oh, okay. Just like I thought. Bam. We see Sarah purposefully smash her car in what might be this unreachable Yu Yong's car, before casually exiting her car and delicately placing her red business card with her name and title, Sarah Kim, Head of Asia Operations, on Yu Yong's windshield. And this works. During a car ride between the two friends, we see an incoming call from none other than Yo Young, which Sarah declines, leaving Yojin shocked and confused. That is, until she hears that Sarah is intentionally waiting for her to become more desperate, knowing she'll keep calling. Because in a sense, they've now positioned Yu Yong as an ordinary person whose call can go unanswered. In a random turn of events during this car ride, the girls end up becoming roommates when Sarah mentions she's switching hotels after catching her maid stealing from her, and Yojin offers for her to move in. During one of their first nights, Yojin compliments how young Sarah looks and questions if she's really 38, to which Sarah says, "With money, you can buy anything, even youth." Yojin steps outside for a smoke break before she notices it's starting to snow in the middle of summer, something she's always wanted to happen. But that can't be possible. She looks up and sees Sarah with a snow machine over her, allowing her to enjoy the snow in the summer like she's always wanted, while we hear Yojin say, "I never thought something this fake could be so beautiful." Sounds like more foreshadowing. Like, what could be fake? The bags? The friendship? Or the literal snow? At this point, snow has been mentioned 3 times with 2 actual visuals. One in the beginning with Sarah holding an umbrella over her bag, and now this moment. What do you guys think this means? So far, I'm not sure. An umbrella over her purse while it's snowing, and now snow in the middle of summer? It's just not clicking for me yet. But I know it's important. We finally get back to the present moment, where Yojin is being questioned by the detective. He asks, "Is that the bag Sarah gave you when you switched bags?" as we get a clip of the red Birkin sitting perfectly upright on the floor. Before she can answer, he presses further. Do you know why the culprit left the purple Birkin at the scene of the crime? Yojin tilts her head, a cold smirk playing on her lips. Maybe to frame me, I guess? Well, things couldn't have always been good between you two, the detective says, his voice low. And in that moment, the tension shifts. Because beneath the laughter, the shopping trips, the perfectly curated friendship, there's a secret no one saw coming. A secret that changes everything. And Yojin might be the only one alive who knows it. What do you guys think? Do you like this narration style of the story so far? Drop a comment and let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you do. And most importantly, no spoilers.